Good morning, gurus. Welcome to another episode. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Yes, last night, just a few hours ago, Bitcoin came down to 100,000. It activated my trades on Bybit. I had a 10 Bitcoin order at 100,000. It came down to 98,900. Activated that 10 Bitcoin order, bounced to 101,500, and I closed the trades with around $10,000 in profits. My WEX trade at 100k also activated, and that one's currently open, still in profits. I closed in profits at quick 10k because it wasn't a convincing enough bounce, in my opinion. The bounce was weak. We came down, went to 99, bounced, and went to only 101, and then it started to falter. So I closed it in profits for quick scalp, quick bounce. I also closed out Tesla, Nvidia completely. I've fully closed out Tesla, Nvidia now. We've made more than 100% from the April tariff lows, and now I've taken profits on them, and I'm protecting my capital. And I've got just remaining maybe 20% of Google remaining, and the rest I'm protecting capital in cash. We made crazy gains from 2022-23 bear market and the April tariff lows till now protecting money. And I predicted these drops quite well, which is lucky. Congratulations if you heard these warnings. Bitcoin dropped just massively. The whole market, something broke yesterday. I'm going to show you quickly. Hit the subscribe button, smash up, thumbs up, and turn on the bell. Let's jump into technicals for Bitcoin and stocks now. We're going into technicals, and I'll show you the journey quickly over on X. So you can see here, 110,100 followers. Something bad broke and trillions wiped out of all the markets today. Closed out and protecting profits in Nvidia, Tesla, Google, only keeping 20% of Google, the rest cash. Have 10 Bitcoin order that triggered at 100,000. We'll see how we bounce here and decide to keep or close. Rule number one by Warren Buffett, protect your money. Rule number two, don't forget rule number one. What was the news that caused this massive crash? The 10 Bitcoin trade activated 100k. And you can see this crash was quite big. Ethereum down 9%, TON down 5.7%, BNB 5%, total market cap 5%. And if you remember, I've got a rising wedge on the total market cap that was giving us a warning. Bitcoin was down 5%. It went under 100k. It was down even more. Uni down 2%. Tesla was down 5%. This is what I mean about something broke. Tesla down 5%. Google down 2%. Nvidia was down also 4% and 1% after hours. I already closed in Tesla, Nvidia, I already closed them in pre-market, post-market, and I've already closed them in profits. And you can see here, Dick Cheney died. Cheney was, Dick Cheney died. Joe Biden, Genocide Joe, was talking about how devoted his life to public service, and I go, what role did Dick Cheney play a part in the Iraq war that led to millions of dead people, according to the biggest religions based on this war? What happened to him? Cheney, as vice president, was a leading advocate for the 2003 Iraq invasion, pushing the case for weapons of mass destruction that didn't materialize and influencing policy towards regime change. Total death estimated very widely directed around 200,000 up to 1 million. 1 million Iraqi citizens dead because of Bush, Cheney, and Colin Powell. And if you look at his messages, it's nearly like on Joe Biden, nearly everyone is saying the same thing, like you can see here. Grandpa, you and him were supposed to share the same cell in the hog. Genocide Joe, war criminal. See, it's like every main post is talking about. This is why you want to do well in life, because when you die, if you do bad, people just shit all over you. Took profits on Bitcoin 35 minutes ago, mostly out of the market, protecting capital. Small 20% of Google remaining. The bounce on Bitcoin wasn't convincing enough. I had a 10 Bitcoin trade open. It activated 100k. We got that bounce. I got a bounce to 101k, took 10k profits, and I closed it out. Bitcoin, every day I'm shuffling. I think one of the main communities making profits on Bitcoin during this drop, large drop, 100k, is a very strong psychological support. The bounce hasn't convincing yet. It's almost 11 months since Trump took office, and the 100k party, they used the last year to liquidate everyone in every direction in stocks and crypto to send people back to work for jobs that the AI has now taken. We made gains and protected our money. 1 day ago, cut losses on my Bitcoin trades, head and shoulders on smaller and longer time frames. And when I cut losses, I took around a $1,800 loss. That was at 108, and then we dropped down to 100K, and then my trades activated, and we made 10K on that bounce, which is beautiful. And that was a huge drop. No real news about what caused it, which is just interesting. It's across stocks and cryptos. And I didn't see any major news talking about it. No one was talking about it, which is very weird. Look at this, completely red everywhere. Bitcoin 101. Lucky I closed out those trades and caught the drop. So you can see here, I'll show you over on Bybit. On Bybit, here I closed at around 108. It took away this, and then I activated 100, and then closed in profits. Now I've got no orders. Now I'm going to find out where to set the next Bitcoin buy order. I had a 10 Bitcoin buy at 100, and it wasn't much of a bounce. You can see here, Bitcoin broke something very big and very important. I've been warning about this. Rising wedge builds pressure and breaks down. And the target of this rising wedge, the base of this triangle, the base of the rising wedge, the target is 75 grand. That was the April, that's even lower. That was the April tariff low, 75. Let's see if it actually does that. And then you could see that on the daily, there was a big warning about a head and shoulders. And I warned everyone about this shoulder, head and shoulder, and that broke down. And you can see the base, the target of this head and shoulders is this target here. It's this distance. When you measure out this distance of the head, that's the target we've got on this head and shoulders. And then when we went into the 4-hourly, there was another head and shoulders pattern on the 4-hourly time frame. In the smaller time frame, shoulder. This is why TA is so important. Head, and then that broke down as well, and it actually hit the target. It came down to 98,900, and then got a bounce to 101. But the bounce is just very weak, and we still have that bigger head and shoulders on the daily to play out. Target of that head and shoulders would be around 90. Target of this head and shoulders would be around 90 there. So I'm going to set another order, 10 Bitcoin at 90. 10 Bitcoin, 90 grand for like a liquidation spike and then catching the bounce. Open long, so I'm going to open at 90,000. I'm going to open 10 Bitcoin. It's going to cost me 45,000. It will be a $900,000 trade. My trade just before was almost a $1 million trade. The one I just closed, you can see here, trade history. This was the one I closed at 1,800 and 1,900 when I cut my losses at 108. It cost me 1,900, and this is the one where I just got that 100 entry price, sold it at 101, made 9,500. This was my closed longs, my Bitcoin trades before, 6,000. You can see my trades here. Quite spiky, a lot of wins and losses, I would say, this last 30 days. Quite crazy trades that are happening with Bitcoin, just liquidating everyone. So I've got my order set 10 Bitcoin at 90K now, and I'm going to leave that. Over on WeX, the trade is in profits as well. I had another trade on WeX, the same. I had a trade for 100K, and that entry price, 100K, it was $1,500 a margin. It used $349. I'm going to close it in profits as well. Close. And then I'm going to set another order for 90K. I just don't think, I'm not convinced by this drop, to be honest. 30,000 will cost me, let's go 50,000. Open long, 90K will be for half a Bitcoin. Confirm. That order is sitting now at 90K. And then this order is sitting at 90K, 10 Bitcoin. We're getting a bounce at 101, but the bounce was quite weak. And it wasn't just related to Bitcoin. It was really Tesla, Nvidia. Also, why I closed Tesla, you're going to see here. Tesla, one, if you zoom out, you can see on the bigger time frame, we're at that resistance line. This resistance line was the resistance in 2021 when we hit 420. Then it was the resistance in December 2024 when we hit 464. And then we came back all the way down to 218, and now it's the resistance up here in 2025, and it had a double top. You can see here, double top. First we hit 475, came down to 412, then we came up again 472, and then today it just got rejected. You can see on the daily, clear double top. So I closed out, and then we had a big drop on Tesla. Where I would buy Tesla now, major support, first major support I would say on the yearly support would be here, 390. Then we have another one at 350, the biggest one at 273, and that's where X marks the spot. If this pattern holds up, this long-term pattern, then if we come down, should be around 300 would be the entry price, 273. Also, why I got out of Tesla is because the PE ratio is just too high right now. If you look at the PE ratio, 312. This is like a university degree in trading and investing that I'm showing you right now. This information is very high level. Bitcoin 101, 200, and Nvidia, I also closed out Nvidia. It had a huge drop, and then that drop is continuing after hours. Luckily, I closed it. It's down another 1.6%. You can see why here. It's failing this breakout. We made 138% on Nvidia from the April tariff lows. When we were buying an April tariff, on the day of the bottom, we bought Nvidia, and then it made a huge rising wedge. And it was turning into kind of rocket. But it broke out and it's failed and it's coming back in. So high chance it could break down here. Something is wrong with the market. Something broke. And I'm going to be very cautious. While I don't know what it is, I want to be very cautious here. In case this breaks down, the yearly support is 135. And you can see on the daily, you can also see double top. You see it? Clear double top here. Also on Google, I closed out most of Google, but I've still got 20% remaining. And Google doesn't have a double top and it still has a bull flag. So that's the only reason I kept some Google, but I closed out most. So now I'm just protecting capital. And I posted it all live here. As I was posting, I've been posting everything live as I'm doing. 1 hour ago, something bad broke, trillions wiped out. The Dick Cheney thing, took profits on Bitcoin on that 10K profit, made 10K during this drop while everyone else was getting pretty hammered. And hopefully you listen to my warning, cutting my loss. This is why you protect trades when the technicals tell you something important. And I took profits on that. WeX Trade, join everyone in the Telegram, 250 people online right now. People discussing, Scooby helping everyone and discussing and protecting the community. Thank you, Scooby. Senator Lemon says crypto market structure is the most important piece of digital assets. They're trying to save this drop, but something broke. I'm not sure what it was. We're talking trillions of dollars was wiped out of the stock and crypto markets today. And not many people are talking about it. So that means many people are sidelined from the market. And my theory is, you know my theory, that they're liquidating everyone, getting them back to work, but that the problem is the AI is coming. Bybit, you can trade on there. WeX is public exchange, meaning anyone in the world can trade there. And they have some bonuses, and the Crypto Master course, take that to learn how to set up the trade. JamesCryptoGuru.com to get the bots. And you can just see some comments from some of my students who've made money from my lessons. And hopefully you protected your capital before that big drop. Rule number 1 by Warren Buffett, protect your money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1, and that's what we did, which was beautiful. That's my updates in the market, everyone. I hope you have a beautiful day. We made crazy gains. Now we're protecting the capital. Everything is overheated. I'm going to wait till it cools down. Wait till they come down to supports. I got those Bitcoin trades, 10 Bitcoin at 90K on WeX and on Bybit. And then I'm just going to protect my capital now and see when the markets cool down. And then I want to get into my same 4. The same 4 that I've been investing and trading since 2015 and 2012 is Bitcoin, Tesla, Nvidia, Google. Love you all. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you all again tomorrow.